in all seriousness, this is another example this year of kind of someone breaking the rules and getting a punishment that doesn't really significantly punish them. So he starts pre-season training late for a season that's going to start late.
Yeah.
Effectively, but it's not of this kind of scale of the whole Long and
Gleeson.
Gleeson.
What's his centre's name?
Gleeson.
Thank you. It's not of that scale of betting, is it?
Oh no.
Knowing that the team's going to be weakened, it's nothing like that. If anything, it's just a bit stupid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely stupid.
Yeah.
Okay. Credit to our friends at Love Rugby League, Total RL, and also a lot of it BBC Rugby League as well for the reporting that we just pick up and talk about. Thanks for those people who got in their fan views this week. Not just Tom this week, which is exciting to see. Make sure you look out. If you go onto the blog post, superleaguepod.com each week, the episode blog post will have a link in there to the form that you can send us your fan views on the week's news. But yeah, great to get a few different views in this week. And that's the news. Now going to move on to the Super League match reviews. It's time for Super League match reviews then. It was week one of playoffs, which we were all excited to see playoff action, and it started with quite an intense event on Thursday night at the Halliwell Jones Stadium in Warrington, where the Wolves hosted Hull FC. It was 13-8 to the visiting Black and Whites at half-time. It finished 27-14 to Hull FC, as we found out that it wasn't indeed Warrington's year once more. Liam Moore was the man with the whistle. In terms of the stats, Warrington made slightly more metres at a better average gain. However, they also made 6 more errors and conceded more penalties. Hull capitalised with 2 more breaks and an extra try. Goal kicking was a difference too. Snide kicking 5 from 5 for Hull, whilst Ratchford only went 1 from 3. Individually, Josh Griffin with 1 try assist and 212 metres. Beretta Faremo continuing his recent try surge with a try, 5 tackle busts, 176 metres and 3 clean breaks. Carlos Umavave with 5 tackle busts and 118 metres. And Joe Cater with 1 try, 57 tackles, 17 of which were marker tackles, and no missed tackles. For the losing Warrington side, Chris Hill had 43 tackles and 161 metres. Joe Philbin had 13 marker tackles and 143 metres. Toby King had a try assist, 118 metres and 3 successful offloads. And Jack Hughes had 44 tackles and 106 metres. Fan views. Alan, do you want to get us rolling?
Yeah, so Bob the Viking says, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Just to get them all in. Great performance by Hull. I think he was quite happy at that one.
Widnes fans loved it. What about fans from the continent, Sarah?
So Carson said, Hull wanted to win this game so much more, and I think Connor found his position finally. I hope he doesn't do a Ben Hunt if they make it to Hull. Fine job by Mr. Last Two, but I don't know if they can raise their game again.
Lee Whitnell said, this went pretty much how I expected given recent performances and lack of games to sharpen up. Hull were better and deserved the win, so well done to them. It's not right, though, that such an expensively assembled squad should look like a ragtag group of misfits lacking composure and consistency pre and post COVID. Steve Price carries the blame for this and should go. Chris Hill too, regrettably. On-field leadership is poor.
Always in Our Shadow says, Sky told us Ratchford was good. They told us Austin was good. They told us Widdop was good. They told us Ashton was good. They told us Toby King was the next great thing. Well, fuck them all. We were Hull FC. We had the Snake and Sneed. Still, there's always next year.
Joshua's granddad said, an opening defensive effort which all too often had been missing this season blunted the much-praised wire stars, allowing Satai and South to come on and set the platform to allow Sneed to call the shots. When not acting like a big Jessie, Austin insisted kicking at B all night, who dealt with everything. Once the obligatory Sneed drop goal, the result was never in doubt, rounded off by a moment of pure Jake.
Yeah, I forgot about that last try.
I totally missed it. I had just turned to pick up my glass, thinking, they're just setting for the dropout. And the next thing he's going to the big screen to signalling a try.
Matt Speakman 20 said, great game on paper that lived up to its billing. Wire threw the ball around early and tried to do too much too quickly instead of settling into the game. Hull took their chances and that proved the difference. Never been the biggest fan of Sneyd, but he marshalled Hull very well and controlled the lead beautifully.
David Hunter says, Warrington do it again. I've only been a fan of this team for 15 years, and I know that this is in the club's DNA, losing in crucial matches in the league. Challenge Cups are nice, but the league title is the one we all want. Funny that as the dual Eels Wire fan, both teams finished third, didn't win a finals game, were knocked out by the team finishing sixth. My comment on the game is that they lacked composure. Every half break, they pushed the final pass. It looked like they were frantic, and it was the last play of the game. I think next year they need to play Mamo on the wing, Ashton at fullback, and Ratchford in the 6, 7, or 13. When they did that earlier in the year, they looked more dangerous in attack and controlled the game better. Not pinning it on Windup, but he didn't take control of the game. Good luck to Hull.
EFC 78JU said, absolutely dreadful. Only Gareth Widdup turned up to the game, playing his way through 80 minutes, and he wants a semi-final game at the Turtley Wicket, but instead the whole team are letting Hull FC through the line to score the tries, and thanks to Big Ben for playing for the Wire and scoring the tries he had, mostly that one at the DW Stadium and in the Cup at home to Wigan Warriors.
Tom Andrews said, bottle jobs bottle it against team there on a technicality. Wire bottling it is the only constant thing in 2020.
I think you could argue it's not, Tom. I think there's certainly one other constant.
Well, COVID-19's been pretty constant.
Yeah, Rover's performance.
Brendan Loftus says, not saying we, Hull, are going to go any further, but I've said to a few people about a month ago that Hull look and are playing like a team that are tough to tackle, playing with some roll on, power and a bit of speed. Jake at fullback just suits him so well.
Sarah, I suppose we come to you now then to let us know what you thought.
Yes, this was sent before I knew I was on tonight. Said I couldn't decide whether it was nerves or excitement building all day. If the right FC turned up, I felt we could win. If the wrong FC arrived, it'd be embarrassing. We withstood the early pressure on our line with defence that hasn't been seen for a few years, and then took our chances to score. A great performance from 1 to 17.
So yeah, that's your summing it up. You weren't very happy with the Sky commentators.
Oh, it was all Warrington. We withstood quite a lot of pressure on our own line for a long time. That was completely unmentioned. And then the minute that Warrington had, one set on their line, it was outstanding defence.
There was a piece of genuinely outstanding defence early on from Warrington about 10 minutes in there, wasn't there? I can't remember. I think it was a Toby King tackle on Fanua, was it? And I just was massively impressed by that. But you're right, Hull did do some good defending too. Not least the stopping Jack Hughes' score very early on in the first 10 minutes of the game, where it was kind of arguable whether was it Sneyd ripped the ball out, but
yeah,
there was an element of loose carry, there was an element of ball stealing. There was also an element to me that Jack Hughes touched the ball again after it had kind of started to come out, and that's where the knock-on actually was. But yeah, that went Hull's way, and then after that first 20 minutes, Hull were probably the better side for the rest of the game, which is weird for you.
It is. It did feel like, I guess it felt a bit like the momentum has been building and the performances have been building over the recent weeks, but we've not really played. We've certainly not had a result against anyone above us in the table.
No, not since Leeds on the opening day of the season. way
Right, I
back
didn't
in what, January or something.
the Middle Ages.
Do you remember, Sarah, when we were stood together at a game of rugby? Do you realise that this was actually this year?
It's insane, isn't it? What was I watching? I was watching, I don't know, some old match. Like, when I say old, I mean maybe like 2 years ago. And I was like, look, there's people, and they're sitting next to each other. And it just seems such an alien concept nowadays.
Well, we were watching something on TV before, and like one of the characters in this show was arranging to go and round to the house of another person in the show, and Emma turned around to me and said, I was just about to say, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, we laugh because otherwise we'd cry. But yeah, back to the game.
Yeah, so yeah, I did feel like we could beat them. As I say, it depends on which Hull turned up. I thought Andy Lass was very astute in his team selection, because Ben McNamara, I think, would have been way out of his depth in this match. It was just too big a game for him. So to have the more controlled Carlos there, although I feel it dimmed his ability to shine as much as he does in the centre, it was more controlled for the team.
Yeah, and I think he kind of just played a running six role and let Sneed do all the kicking, but let Connor do all of the creating. And
yeah.
It's weird at fullback. Connor can do that creative work without looking like he's under pressure to do it. It seems more free and natural to him at fullback to create stuff to me.
Yeah.
Whereas I think he feels like he needs to control the game when he's playing in the halves, and he can't control himself sometimes. So let alone the game.
No, but I do think he did control his temper. Was it Austin at one point tried to have a dig at him and he just let it go, which was he isn't always very good at that.
He didn't shut up, but he didn't lash out.
No, he was chirpy, but not excessively.
Alan, Warrington were missing Sarah's friend Mike Cooper from the lineup, which I think was a big blow to them coming into the game. He's been very, very good for them all year. Chris Hill's stats look really good, but when I remember this game, I'll remember Chris Hill with a lazy high shot and then Chris Hill with an awful knock on. And in the last sort of 15 minutes or so, in the last 10 minutes really, that did take the game from being a close game that looked like Warrington was starting to make some chances into a game that looked comfortable for Hull FC.
Yeah, it's unfortunately they're the kind of errors that get they're front and centre of your head, aren't they? Whereas it's easy to forget the 9-metre carry, isn't it? Where you're gonna remember the drop ball in your own 10 and the high shot, which was it was tiredness, wasn't it? He's having to do more work than he usually would because Cooper usually carries a lot of that kind of go forward and stuff. And Hill's not the player he was 2-3 years ago, and they were very poor.
Why didn't the Chinless Wonder bring Mum's boyfriend on sooner? What was the point of bringing him on for 90 seconds at the end?
Why did we have to watch him sitting on the bench in his padded coat all the time?
Well, because the obvious thing to have done for most of the second half was to take Ben Murdoch-Masila off, because he was completely ineffective against a side that actually have centres that are physical, because he can't then just bully smaller players out wide because he's scared of actually playing the position that his number on the back of his shirt asked him to play in the middle. And don't tell him I said that, though. I'm terrified of him. But
he's probably out of the country now. It's fine.
But he was completely ineffective and just looked tired all game to me. when what they could have been doing is pushing Rashford into